Welcome back to Clean for Profit. Guys, I've had a few of you kind of reach out and ask about general setup on your window cleaning business. And a big part of that is deciding what wheels you're going to have, like what you're going to actually be running in for your business. Now, if you're anything like me and you're not starting out with a ton of money, um, you're going to be in your personal rig for a while, and that's all good. You kind of have to just figure it out for a while. I found, if you're in like a Corolla or a small sedan or something like that, you're going to want to try to get out of that basically as quickly as you can because there's only so much that you can do out of a rig like that. But as you're about to hear, I was in a not a sedan, like a wagon for a while, and I made it work. So you can totally do that too. But um, yeah, I was in a personal rig for a long time. We'll talk about that right now, basically. And I've also bought some rigs that I wouldn't buy again, one of which we're really invested in, and that we're still running the business out of. And that's our van, which we'll go over. But okay, so I'm going to talk about the couple of vehicles that I have personally used, starting with my Subaru Forester. And then we'll talk about my Sequoia because I have a 2003 Toyota Sequoia. We still have it. It's retired now. And then we're going to talk about the big one, which is like, should you go with a van or a truck? So first off, Subaru Forester would not recommend. It's hella small. It's what I had at the time, guys. I used it for like 2.5, 3 years, and it worked great. I ended up selling it ultimately. Got into the Sequoia, but yeah, it's too small. It's not a work vehicle. They're really short. I hit my head on that hatch on the back more times than I can count. Um, Anything with a hatch, man, including the Sequoia. If you have extension ladders on the top, you know this. You're going to get little scars on your hatch from opening the door, and it boop touches the feet of the extension ladder. So hatchbacks just aren't made for running a business that requires extension ladders. So Subaru Forester would not recommend, but it's what I had at the time. The Toyota Sequoia. This was a great rig, man. I got this thing at 180,000 miles for, I don't know, 8 grand. It was 2021. I mean, the market was super inflated. It's probably worth 5 or 6 if I bought it in that same condition today, but oh well. That was a great rig, great all-arounder. It can be emptied and used for family events or off-roading. We have family up in Central Oregon, man. It's 5, 6 hours away from us, and it snows up there. And I have hybrid tires on that thing, so anytime that we want to bring it up, any time of the year, we can flip that baby into four-wheel drive and make it happen. So it's great for that. Ultimately, a Sequoia is not a business rig. It just isn't. It doesn't feel like a business rig. It feels like a family SUV. And so long term, you're going to want to get into something more permanent feeling. Even if you have a personal vehicle that you really like, there is something really to having a business vehicle, something that is for the business, because anything that goes in there is for the business. Any investment that you put on there is for the business. Any wrap that you put on there is for the business. It doesn't feel convoluted with your personal life. And that just adds a lot of, I don't know, it adds a lot of purpose to the vehicle compared to having a personal vehicle that you also get groceries in on the weekend and stuff like that. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm being a weirdo, but let's talk about the difference. Okay, so Sequoia. The Sequoia was great. I still have it. Like I said, it's retired more or less. It needs a lot of work, just like maintenance. I got it at 180,000 miles and it's got almost 240 on it now. So it's time for a good amount of work. But I'm probably going to just hang on to it, man, because it's a good vehicle. It'll get to at least 300,000 miles, which means that if we're not using it for the business, dude, I've got a 6'4" and 1 year old, 6'4" and 2. Um, we can have that Sequoia until they're out of the house if we're just using it casually. So we'll see. Okay, so business vehicles in general, the difference between trucks and vans. Let's talk about trucks real quick. This is one that I have less experience in. Um, I've ran like personal vehicles and I've ran in vans. When I first ran in a van, I was in what we'll call like a city van, like NV200, Ram ProMaster City, Ford Transit Connect kind of vehicles. But let's talk about trucks. Trucks are awesome. They look great. They're really easy to maneuver. It feels like a car, as opposed to some vans, which feel like a big box a lot of the time. Number one is a Tacoma. It's a fantastic option. More expensive, like that's not news to you. They're pricey because they last a long time. I would say their relative value is probably higher in terms of like they're going to last longer for you than something like a Honda Ridgeline or a Ford Maverick. They're a sweet option. There's something to driving a truck that I don't know if I like this more or less, but when you drive a van, you're really like you're in the same domain as your gear. I don't know how to describe it, um, but there's just a different vibe to driving a truck. I don't know. I'm going to sound like a hippie California stoner if I go on too much about just like the vibes, man, of like driving a truck versus a van. You just gotta get in that van life, bro. But we have a Tacoma. It's an older one with low miles, and it's been awesome. It gets amazing fuel mileage compared to our van. So that's been good. And I think trucks, especially like not crew cabs, but like the single or access cabs, are really good for solo crews, when you're running like one man shows. So it's certainly worth considering. Honda Ridgeline is also a great option. Ford Maverick. This is what Dave runs primarily. He loves them, and the hybrids get amazing mileage. I don't know what they get exactly, but it's really solid from what Dave has told me. Um, and honorable mention on the truck front, I've got my eye on these. They're coming out in 2027. It's called a Slate, Slate truck. They're fully electric, and they're not even in production yet, or they're not like in the broad consumer market. But keep your eye on these if you're interested in affordable EVs. They're fully electric trucks. And they're going to start for under 30 grand. I think the MSRP for a base uh, Slate Truck is like 26.5 or something like that. Um, I haven't done a major deep dive into whether I want to run these or not, but they look promising, and they're under 30 grand new, and they're fully electric. So I've actually got a deposit for two of them down. It was cheap at the time. It was $50 per like to get per deposit to get my name in line. So it's totally refundable, but kind of got my name in line. So when they come out, I can choose whether to buy one or not. And they look freaking dope, especially for one man crews. They just look iconic. I don't know, maybe they're a little polarizing. It's not quite as polarizing as a Cybertruck, but I just think they look like great little work trucks. So I'll be keeping my eye on that for sure. I'm actually slowing down any idea of purchases. Like I ran into a really good deal on another Tacoma recently, and I've kind of pumped the brakes on it because I just don't know if I'm going to want to go that route or get a Slate Truck or two when they start coming out. So we'll see. Um, and then vans. Let's talk about vans. Vans are great because because you can build them way more, basically. Um, you can stand or crouch in them, which is really solid, unlike trucks when you have just like a cab on the back, um, like a topper. Vans are way more accessible. They're the perfect size in a lot of cases. Let's talk about the two types of vans. So other than minivans, I actually think minivans might be good to run too. I've put some serious thoughts into running a minivan setup. There's some like the new Siennas, for example, not new. They're 50 grand new. It's ridiculous. But like a 10-year-old Sienna, if you don't have a ton of money to put into something, those are like you can get a 10-year-old Sienna, like a 2015 for like 15-ish thousand. It's not cheap. But they get good gas mileage. They're low to the ground. The most of them come with rack starts. I don't know what they're called, like rack bases that you could secure ladders to, and they get good mileage. They feel like a car, and they're big. So I think wrapping it isn't a bad move either. Like I think you could really get a kind of a professional look out of a minivan. I don't, as stupid as that sounds. Okay, but city vans versus utility vans. So city vans, that's like a Nissan NV200, Ford Transit, Ford Transit Connect, Ram ProMaster City, small vans like tradesman vans. Those are sweet. They're the perfect size for window cleaning and maybe one other service. If you have it like gutter cleaning, you can fit a blower in there, or even in some cases I've seen city vans with rigs where if you do a self-contained water fed like pure water system where you filter the water at your house, put it in a tank, and then have a pump in your rig that just pumps water to the water fed pole. Um, I've seen good rigs in city vans that have that setup. It doesn't seem like a bad setup, man. Um, it's probably not big enough for like a pressure washing rig and a window cleaning, for example. But if you do primarily window cleaning and you know you just have a tiny pressure washing rig, or you do gutter cleaning, or um, you know, kind of not really Christmas light installation, man. You need a lot of totes for that. Like you could squeeze and make something like that work, but it's best for like 1.5 services, which is kind of what we do. We do all window cleaning and sometimes we do gutters. Um, so like we sort of have two services, but not really. In my opinion, they're the cleanest looking and they're the most professional looking, like all arounder. It's a van, but it's not that big. It's just an iconic work vehicle. So those are certainly worth considering. Number two is utility vans, like full size. So if you have two services, like if you're going to do window cleaning and pressure washing, these are great options. I ran into a good deal on a Ford Transit 250, which is what I ended up buying. Um, and it's overkill for 1 to 2 services, man. Like we have all of the equipment that we need in there and more. And we have space left over. Um, but dude, I mean, the van that we have looks freaking amazing with the full wrap that we got it. We got a full wrap for this thing and it is a billboard. Um, I've paid off the cost of that wrap times 10 since we got it. It's really good. The other cool thing is, if you need to carry something bigger, it's a full size rig, so it's really good for that. Like we have sandwich boards, like the really nice A-frame boards that you see on sidewalks that we put out in front of our job sites. In the Tacoma, we have I want to say it's 18 by 24. So it's 2 feet tall. In the Transit, dude, the one that we have, I think it's 2 by 3 feet. It's huge and it draws eyes like crazy. And again, that's another thing that's like paid itself off times 10. So I don't regret the purchase because we're flexible. So if we get into Christmas light installation, like we can put 30 bins of lights back there and we have the capacity in the transmission and the engine to be able to haul it. And if we put a hitch on it, we can tow a trailer if needed. So there's a lot that we could do with it, but ultimately we would save a ton on fuel if we went smaller, and we totally could have. So yeah, a couple honorable mentions of like weird ones that I've considered. I'm not saying these are good rigs, but I think they're worth looking into if you're a solo operator. Do you guys remember the toaster cars? Like the oh shoot, Honda Element. They look like a toaster. I think there was like a Scion van as well. They look really funny, but I think that'd be a good solo operator rig. The HHRs, they look kind of dumb. Honestly, if you got one a full wrap though, they're kind of inexpensive. It'd be a good solo operator rig, I think. That's a little on the short end. But I think would be kind of a funny gimmicky truck as well to run around. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how the Slate trucks work out. Um, so we'll see. Anyways, this one was a little bit more ranty. You guys, I've just had a handful of you reach out and ask me about getting started, specifically what kind of rigs to look into. Ultimately, like do your research. A lot of this is dependent on what you're going to run for your pure water system. Like Dave out in Tennessee, they have their TDS and their water is pretty low by default. So he just has single RO tanks that he just hooks up to a spigot and he's good to go. I need a multi-stage in our area. The TDS in our water is no lower than like 130 in most areas. So I need something that's significant. So I can't really run like a Ford Maverick. I mean, I could maybe squeeze it, but it'd be tough. Even the Tacoma is like with the 5 foot bed. Is it 5 or 6 feet? I think it's 6 feet. Um, it's tight. Like we barely get what we need in there for two guys. But it feels great as a solo. Like when you run in that solo, I think trucks in general are really good for solo guys. Um, Anyways, I will stop ranting. This was just kind of, I just wanted to hop on here real quick and share my thoughts on this issue. But yeah, guys, we'll check in again soon. This has been Clean for Profit. We'll talk to you next week. As always, hope you have a good one. Cheers.